Hey everybody, how you doing? Michael Fleischner here, Freelancer Profit System. And today I'm answering the most popular question I get, which is how much can freelancers make? Now, this is a somewhat complicated question because it all depends on a few factors. The first is what type of services are you offering? Are they $10 an hour services or $500 an hour services? That's the first question. The second question, in terms of how much you can make as a freelancer, is how many hours or how much value are you creating for customers? And then the third question is, how often are you doing that? So, in whole, it's really about what you put into it that you will get out of it. And again, a lot of this depends on the price of your services. So, let's break this down in terms of how much you can make as a freelancer, which begins with how much time you're spending offering freelance services. Now, it's not just time for money, it's also value. Some freelance services are worth more than others. A good example would be if you're writing and you're doing blog articles, you may be able to make $30 an article, $50 an article, whatever the going rate is for a specific type of article, a number of words. If you're obviously in a technical space, you may be able to earn more. So you have to start with the price of the service as opposed to something like SEO, search engine optimization, which is going for, let's say, $225 an hour. So you can see for the same amount of time, two freelancers could be earning a different amount of money. So you need to think about the time value equation and be really specific about the services you're offering and make sure you're offering those services that really value your time. So that's the first step. And then the second step is thinking about how much time you're going to contribute as a freelancer. If you're doing this as your full-time job and you've got 40 hours in a week, then obviously you can earn more than someone who's offering the same services for 2 or 3 hours a week. So put that into your equation. And then the last thing I really want to talk about is as you're offering these services, one thing you want to think about is how you can replicate yourself. In other words, if your services depend on you delivering the service, then you're limited to the number of hours that you can give. But let's say you have a photography business on the side as a freelance, and you every weekend you're doing a wedding, and that's great, and you're earning fantastic money. During the week you're doing your editing, or maybe you pay someone to edit the photos for you. But at the end of the day, you can't expand your business because there's only one of you and you can only do one wedding a weekend or two weddings. Now, what you can do is you can think about how to replicate yourself and as a result, increase your earning potential. Now, in this example, let's say you're a photographer, you could pay another photographer to take on work. And how you pay that person is ultimately up to you. Maybe you split it 50-50. Maybe they take 80% because they're doing all the work and you earn a 20% commission. And you might say, well, why would I do that? Well, you're doing that because you're not physically capable of doing that work. You're out of bandwidth. But at the same time, you may have a base of clients or potential clients that really like your work. So you're going to oversee this other person, but ultimately they're the ones who are going to show up on a Saturday or Sunday to take the pictures. So by replicating yourself, even though it might be incremental revenue, you're still going to increase your earning potential. So how much can a freelancer make? Well, a freelancer can earn anywhere from an extra few $100s per month to 10,000, 20,000, or 30,000 per month. But again, it depends on the service that you're offering, the going rate for that service, and how much time you're spending dedicated to delivering those services for customers. So keep those things in mind, and you can estimate your own earning potential as a freelancer when you think about how much time you're going to spend delivering the services and what you're going to charge. All right, so that's it for Freelancer Profit System, this video. So please give a thumbs up, definitely comment below, share with anybody who you think would find value, and of course, subscribe to the channel for additional freelancer information. Thanks and take care.